Welcome back to Soil Sage and Soul Siren with Maurice Small and Rebecca Reynolds. Maurice, how's your day going?
The day's going great here in Atlanta. We have partly sunny skies, about 65 degrees, and the birds are singing. How about you?
Wow, we have that close to 60s also, which is pretty amazing here in the Cleveland area. And you and I were talking before we started about this word that we both love called hibernation. And yeah, what are your thoughts first then on hibernation, Maurice?
A number of animals do it, and a number of cultures do it. And being able to duplicate nature biomimicry is important. And while some cultures don't hibernate, looking at the cultures that do and figuring out why would be a good step to figuring out some of the things that we can do as people to de-stress, slow down, and prepare. How about you?
Yes, and I like all that you said, and I'm thinking about food shortages that we could potentially anticipate, and how so many of us, because we weren't groomed to recognize that we should have gardens and we should take the excess and can it and bottle it and dehydrate it and make sure that we have source of food on our own shelves and maybe also to help our neighbors. And you were talking about your kimchi. I love that. You've been in preparation, and what ways have you been preparing?
Well, my mom taught me how to keep things ready. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know about water. You don't know about food. So keep some stuff on the side, enough to share, enough to provide for your family. And multiple times a year, my family and we create different batches of kimchi. So usually 5 gallons at a time for the kimchi. And we just did some about 14 days ago, and it's now ready to be canned up. So we're doing that over the next couple of days. And then there's things like, having enough water to drink, to wash with. The average person in America in the North, they use about 1 gallon of water a day. And that's not including flushing the toilet. So
Right.
having enough water available for cooking, for cleaning yourself a little bit, just having enough things like that. And then, of course, if you have room to grow, having some of those things outside that you can rush out to, especially the herbs. The herbs are very important to keep you healthy throughout your hibernation period. And things you grow, things you can, things you put on the shelf, those are pretty important. How about on your end?
Yeah, on my end, I've been focused on rain barrels. I've been focused
Hmm.
on the fact that I'm blessed to live very close to the lake, which is one of the most reliable bodies of water on earth, and lake areas. And yet I really feel the need to have rain barrels, just
Hmm.
to collect the water. It's just so an amazing resource to have on hand, like you said, even if it's for flushing toilets or bathing or washing clothes. I'm also with you on the herbs. I've started to dry all my herbs from the garden, and I do have a dehydrator. And when the pandemic started, I was making a lot of food like in cracker style, like with
Hmm.
flaxseed and vegetables, knowing that at least if anything happened, I was going to have huge stores of these very nutritionally dense crackers that, with a lot of water, because anytime you eat something dehydrated, you really need to drink a lot of water with that food. Um, could be a lifesaver. And I haven't gotten into canning yet, though I want to. How much of that do you do?
We do quite a bit of canning, both water bath and the other style. It's really simple, and just start small. You can start with, a couple pints, and just try it and see what happens. And just push that button down. There's a little button on top of the jars.
Yeah.
And if you push that button down, the button doesn't move. That stuff is still good. So as you try a few cans in pint jars, it could be local raspberries, it could be local fruits of some sort, it could be, you
Hmm.
know, whatever you think you could put. And of course, the internet is there to help you. guide yourself through all this unknown process. But I encourage everyone to try and can something, because you might return to a way that your grandparents and great grandparents were able to survive. And we're here because of them being able to
Right.
survive with these canned goods.
Wow, what a great point. We are here because our grandparents, great grandparents learned survival modes.
Mhm.
And we are having a luxurious existence because we have all these accoutrements that take care of us. But if those accoutrements, call it heat, call it running water, call it food sources, were not in place, are we wise enough to at least have a couple months worth of food on our store shelves
Mhm.
um, at home? Because we don't know, and we
No.
never did, but we're
Mm-mm.
pretending we do. Oh, it'll always be there. That the stores won't go down. Don't worry about the gas prices. Okay, so this is a very important topic we're talking about, and we hope our friends who are listening um, are inspired, not fearful, but inspired to begin, even getting a dehydrator and maybe water purification. Anything you would add to that, Maurice?
The dehydrator is a worthy investment. We dehydrated probably 3 5-gallon buckets of peppers, extra
Wow.
peppers that were like number twos that didn't pass muster for the restaurants. And maybe we can put a picture of the bags of dehydrated peppers on our show notes, and people can look at what that looks like. But I did document the process, so I think we could add those to our Facebook site and see what it looks like. And the dehydrator is like about $40. So if you
Right.
turn off your cable, turn off the extra HBO on your cable, take that $40 and buy a dehydrator. Think about it, people. You're watching cable TV that costs you 100 and some bucks a month when you could be dehydrating your food. And with dehydration, all you gotta do is rehydrate. Oh my goodness. It's really simple, and it's the simplest way to preserve your food. Dehydration. Apples, bananas, radishes, greens, kales, cabbage. I mean, forget about it. And it's super light. A cabbage weighs a lot, but when you dehydrate it, it weighs almost nothing. So if you have to go, here you go. You grab a bag of cabbage and grab a bag of kale, and you put it in your mouth and you suck on it, and you drink a little bit of water, and it rehydrates in your mouth, and you can flavor it with whatever. It's a must do. The dehydrator is a must do.
And the flavors are so intense when everything
Mm-hmm.
comes out of the dehydrator, because once
Yep.
the liquids are dehydrated out, it's amazing. And I like what you said about if you have to go, if you have to leave a place, you're carrying much less weight with dehydrated
Mm-hmm.
foods. You're not carrying cans and bottles. And
Yep.
there are water vessels that are bags, and you see them on runners. So those can also be engaged. But we're not doomsdayers, we're just
Nope.
preparers. And we're
Yep.
preparing for the hibernation when the earth has said, I'm pulling in my resources too. And so don't you like that idea? The idea of being in alignment with earth. I'm pulling in my resources. So if we can all encourage each other so that there's no lack, there should be no lack because the earth is plentiful. Maurice, any closing words?
I'd like to share that everyone is love. We exude love. We receive love. Nature is love. Water is love. Let's protect the love. Let's help each other, and let's grow forward together. Rebecca, what do you have?
I just have so much gratitude for everything you just said and for everyone who is taking part in this and passing on the word. And let's all circle together as the community of love that we long to be. I believe we long to be that. Thank you all. Thank you, Maurice.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great one. And we'll see you on the next podcast of Soil, Sage, and Soul, Siren. Bye for now.